Class 8, welcome back once again to your biology online class. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today I am starting with unit test 4 course, circulatory system. Now you have done so many systems of your body. That is, you have done, last chapter that you had done was endocrine system. Then you have also done the reproduction. You have done in class 7th, you have done digestive system, excretory system. There's so many systems in your body, and these are life processes without which you cannot exist. So you cannot stay alive without these life processes. So human beings need food and oxygen to stay alive. We cannot stay alive without oxygen. And when we are breathing in oxygen, at the same time we are giving out harmful gases like carbon dioxide and other wastes. Is that clear? And how does the transport takes place throughout the body? That is, although we are taking in oxygen through our lungs, we are inhaling through our nose and through our mouth, and it is entering our lungs. But how does each and every cell of the body receive this oxygen? Not only oxygen, the nutrients that are circulated in your blood, or whatever food that you have taken in, and the nutrients that have assimilated in your blood, that have become a part of you. How has that happened? It has happened through the circulatory system. So what is the human circulatory system? So the human circulatory system consists of two systems, or they are of two types basically: the blood vascular system and the lymphatic system. So blood vascular system, what does it consist of? It consists of the blood vessels and the heart. Is that clear? And the lymphatic system consists of the lymph vessels and the lymph nodes. So you can see from the diagram also that it consists of the heart, the blood vessels and the blood which will be circulating in the blood vessels and the heart. And the lymphatic system consists of the lymph nodes. You can see over here, visible at globular thickenings, lymph nodes, lymph vessels and lymph. Is that clear? So the human circulatory system consists of these two types. Now the first one, that is the blood vascular system. What is blood? Blood, we all know, is a red colored fluid, and it flows in the blood vessels. How much blood does an adult person contain? He contains about 5 to 6 liters of blood. And blood is made of two components, that is the fluid component, blood plasma, fluid component, and cellular component that consists of the three types of blood cells, that is the platelets, white blood cells and red blood cells. You can see that blood has two components, that is the fluid component. If you collect a few milliliter of blood and keep it in a test tube, you will see this in the form of a pale yellow liquid. This pale yellow liquid which you can see, this is the plasma, that is the fluid component of the blood, and this red colored component that you can see is the blood cells. Is it clear? So this you can form, that is, the plasma is the fluid part of blood, and what is suspended in it? These blood cells are suspended in this plasma. And what is the percentage of this plasma? That is, it makes about 55% of the total blood. Is that clear? And 1% is constituted by the platelets and white blood cell, and 44% is constituted by the red blood cells. Now what is this plasma? Now plasma is containing water as well as other components in it. that is water. How much water is present? About 90% of plasma is water, and the remaining 10% is made up of the solid components. This consists of the nutrients, that is vitamins, minerals, proteins and carbohydrates, and salts, that is sodium. So this consists of the waste products, then waste products which is in the form of urea and carbon dioxide, hormones which I have already told you in the last chapter, the nutrients which can be carbohydrate, vitamins, minerals, proteins, and the blood gases are also there, which has been separately taken up as carbon dioxide and oxygen. So it carries water and various material from one part of the body to the other. This is the function of plasma, that it carries water and various material from one part of the body to the other, because blood is circulating throughout your body with the help of the blood vessels. Then the cellular component of the blood, that is first one is the red blood cells or erythrocytes. Now what are these? They are small biconcave dish shaped. Disc shape, you can see the shape of this. This is in the form of a disc, and they have a nucleus. Initially they have a nucleus. Is that clear? But the mature RBCs lack a nucleus. They become anucleated or without a nucleus. Now all these cells, whether be it the white blood cells, the red blood cells or any other cell of your body, they have a particular lifespan. After this lifespan, they tend to be replaced by new cells. So the lifespan of RBCs is 120 days. Is that clear? It is 120 days is the lifespan of RBCs or erythrocytes. Now what is present inside the blood that makes it red? It is because of the presence of this RBC only. Now what is the basic function of RBCs? They are red in color due to what? Because of the presence of a pigment which is known as hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is the pigment which is responsible for the red color of the blood, and it is the pigment which is responsible for carrying the oxygen inside the body, and apart from this it carries the carbon dioxide outside. It is the pigment which is responsible for the gaseous transport in simple terms. So it is a red colored iron containing respiratory pigment. Red colored iron containing respiratory pigment. Is it clear? I have repeated this point because it contains iron, and if you are deficient in iron, that will mean that you will be deficient in hemoglobin as well. So respiratory pigment, because it is responsible for carrying the respiratory gases, oxygen and carbon dioxide. Is it clear? Now how does it carry oxygen? Now it carries oxygen in the form of oxyhemoglobin. Is that clear? So the compound formed by the combination of oxygen and hemoglobin in blood is oxyhemoglobin. Is that clear? And it is in this form that the blood is carried from the lungs to all cells of the body. How is oxygen coming inside? You are inhaling oxygen through your nose or through your mouth, and it is entering the lungs. And when it enters the lungs, it enters in the form of oxyhemoglobin. It is this part of red blood cells, that is hemoglobin, which is combining with the oxygen and forming a compound which is oxyhemoglobin, and in this form only it is carried from the lungs to all cells of the body. Is it clear? And apart from this, after giving the oxygen to the different cells of the body, That means to each and every cell of the body, what is it carrying with it? Carbon dioxide. And then it comes in the compound of in the form of compound which is known as carbaminohemoglobin. And this carbaminohemoglobin means carbon dioxide combined with hemoglobin. And this is the waste of the body that is being produced by the cells during the breakdown of digested food. And this moves to the lungs, and carbon dioxide is exhaled out of the lungs, and it has to be exhaled out of the body. So RBCs are produced in the bone marrow. Is that clear? RBCs is produced in the bone marrow. What is bone marrow? It is the soft tissue present in the central cavity of bones. Is that clear? It is the soft tissue which is present inside the central cavity of bones. So what is the function of RBCs? It is responsible for the red color of the blood, and it is also responsible for the transport of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the body. Next type of cell is the WBC or leukocytes. Now WBC or leukocytes, they are what? They are colorless and irregular shaped cells. You can see these are WBCs or white blood cells. So they are different from red blood cells, that is they are larger in size, around 10 to 14 micrometer in diameter. They do not contain hemoglobin. They have nuclei, and they are not having any pigment, so they are not red but are translucent. Is that clear? So WBCs are colorless, irregular shaped cells, and they have a distinct nucleus. You can see they have, all of them have a distinct nucleus in them. These cells are produced in the lymph nodes and in the spleen, whereas you compare it to RBCs, they were produced in the bone marrows, and WBCs are produced in the lymph nodes and in the spleen. They are fewer in number and they are bigger in size than RBCs. And these WBCs lifespan may be a few hours to several days, not more than that. They have a shorter lifespan. So what is the main function of WBCs? Basically their function is to protect us against disease causing microorganisms. When they enter body, they are basically attracted, WBCs are attracted to diseases and bacteria. That is their disease, they are attracted to the microorganisms. Microorganisms are organisms that cannot be seen with the naked eyes, like the bacteria and viruses. And we are inhaling, and it is entering our body through the food or through the water that we are taking. Is that clear? So they are the soldiers of our body, and that is why we give this name, because they are helping us, or they are protecting our body against various infections and various diseases. And how do they do this? First is that WBC capture the disease causing microorganism and destroy them. You can see them, how this is the bacteria which has entered our body, and how WBC has changed its shape. You have studied in your earlier classes amoeba. Amoeba does what? To eat the food. It phagocytoses, it withdraws, or it draws food through inside its body through what? Through the projections which are known as pseudopodium, and that is why it is irregular in shape. Similarly, WBCs are irregular in shape. You can see that how do they phagocytose the food? That is, they engulf the bacteria, the microorganism that has entered the body, and it digests it and destroys itself. Is that clear? So they are the soldiers of the body. They engulf the disease causing organism and destroy them. Another function of WBCs is production of antibodies. You can see over here how WBCs have produced these antibodies. You can see in the form of yellow circles. There are so many of them. There are special proteins which are being produced by WBCs. and these antibodies fight against the various germs, that is various microorganisms which have disease causing microorganisms which have entered a body and destroy them. Is that clear? So the two functions of WBC are to capture the disease causing microorganism by a process which is known as phagocytosis and destroy the microorganisms, and second is to produce antibodies and these antibodies fight against infections and destroy them, hence helping in the defense process of the body and acting as soldiers for a body. Then the different types of WBCs. There are two basic types, that is granulocytes which are having granules and agranulocytes having non-granular cytoplasm. They have no granules. Is that clear? You can see these small dots, small circles, these are the granules, and others are granulocytes. So granulocytes are of three types, that is neutrophils, basophils and eosinophils. Is that clear? These are the granulocytes, and agranulocytes are monocytes and lymphocytes. So these are the 5 types of WBCs. And the third type of cells which are present in our blood are platelets or thrombocytes. Now you can see these are colorless, spherical or irregular shaped tiny cell fragments. These are platelets, or they are also known as thrombocytes, and they are also formed in the bone marrow, that is the soft tissue present in the central cavity of bones. They are smaller than WBCs and RBCs, and these have a lifespan of 8 to 9 days. Is that clear? And they play a major role in blood clotting in a cut or wound. What is blood clotting? That is when a person gets injured or bleeds, that is he starts bleeding, then there should be something to stop that bleeding, otherwise this bleeding can even be a major, so it can be life threatening and cause death. So for this process, what is responsible? The blood platelets or the thrombocytes. So what is this process? It is not a simple process, it involves several steps. So the main function of blood platelets is in the process of clotting, that is the process of formation of a blood clot. And how does this take place? Now how does this blood clotting take place? That is when a particular injury takes place, that is a particular site or a particular part of the body is injured, it results in bleeding. So at that particular site an enzyme is released from the platelets. I told you what are enzymes. They are the biocatalysts. They accelerate or they alter the rate of a reaction. So here we are talking about the biochemical reaction that are occurring in a body. So as soon as injury takes place, there is release of the enzyme from the platelet. So you can see that there is a discontinuity in the vessel that has been broken. So platelets release this enzyme, and this enzyme helps in the production of a protein which is known as thrombin. And when this thrombin is formed, it converts fibrinogen into fibrin. Is that clear? And fibrinogen is present in the blood plasma and it is converted into fibrin, a protein. So what does fibrin help in? It helps in the formation of collagen, and it is a net like covering across the damaged blood vessel. This is the damaged blood vessels, and this has changed the fibrinogen into fibrin and it has formed a network. And what is trapped inside this fibrin network is the serum, blood plasma without fibrinogen, which comes out in the wound. Is that clear? Now this forms a blood clot. This is the blood clot, and this is a fibrin network together with the blood cells. This is how a blood clot is formed. So what is clotting? That is the process of formation of a blood clot is called as blood clotting. Is that clear? This is how it takes place, that is injury to blood vessels results in the bleeding, and as soon as this bleeding starts, at the same time an enzyme is released from the platelets, and this does what? This helps in the production of a protein which is known as the thrombin. And what is the function of this thrombin? Is to convert fibrinogen that is present in the blood plasma into fibrin. What is the function of the fibrin? To form a net like covering across the damaged blood vessel. You can see how this network has formed, and the RBCs get trapped in the fibrin network, and serum is the blood plasma without fibrinogen, and it comes out of the wound and blood clot is formed. So, this is how the process of clotting takes place. And in some diseases like the dengue and purpura, the number of platelets get reduced. So, in dengue the number of platelets come down to around 25 to 30,000 cubic millimeter blood, and this might cause symptoms of bleeding, and that may even be a cause of death. That is why dengue is a life threatening disease. Exactly, it is a fatal disease and we should be careful about it. So, in the next lecture I will proceed on with the chapter. Allah Hafiz.